Welcome to Arkham. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So, we got quite a bit to cover today. So, for 5 years, a woman by the name of Patriarchy Hannah, as her Twitter handle goes, built a following of over 27,000 individuals on X, formerly Twitter, presenting herself as a devoted trad wife, a mother of 14, a submissive wife to her carpenter husband, and a staunch advocate of biblical patriarchy. She even talked about her dog named Lucy and her love for Sonic and Nerds candy clusters. But there's just one problem with patriarchy, Hannah. She isn't real. Even her dog Lucy might be fake. I don't even know it's real anymore. So over the weekend, an ex user by the name of Ryan Duff exposed Patriarchy Hannah's real identity, and she is known as Jennifer Bays, a 37-year-old single mother from Arkansas with a history of identity theft. Big shocker there. Her elaborate deception, complete with family photos, a podcast, a fictional town, has left her many followers devastated and many of us debating if any of this is even real or not. Or was it just one big con? Now, I personally, I followed Hannah. I had conversations with her in the past. I haven't really talked to her much in the past year, or at least since my old account got banned. Um, but I definitely wasn't one of those people that shared like really personal information with her, which unfortunately a lot of people did. But before we get into this topic, please like, share, follow, subscribe, and click that notification bell to stay notified every time we go live. Okay, man. So, some of you who may not be on Twitter may be asking yourselves, why do I care about this? What does this matter? Well, I think this story has broader implications about online anonymity. I cannot say that word. Anonymity. There we go. I think I got it right. And forgiveness that warrant a conversation, that warrant discussion. Now, first, I just wanna make it clear again who Patriarchy Hannah is. She has been a Twitter user for the past 5 years. She has built relationships with a lot of my mutuals, a lot of, a lot of the people that I know, a lot of this, conservative circle she has built relationships with, and she has woven this elaborate backstory to who she really is. And complete with her carpenter husband named Tony, who has his own Twitter account, and many people suspect that it's actually her that's running the account, but she claims it's not her, it's somebody else. But who? That raises another question. She claimed to have 14 children, so including biological. She claimed to adopt kids and foster kids. She claimed that her husband Tony owned a construction company. She even, one story that I remember her actually posting about is how her husband Tony built her own apartment at this work site that they went to. All right, so this is not some you know small little lie. This is a lie with layers. This is a lie that has been woven over the course of years. And then she even went on to talk about how Tony, her husband, built this small community that she referred to as Tony Town or T Town, with their family. And she described her family being really close knit, a tight knit bunch. And she promulgated this lie to her, 25 plus thousand Twitter followers. And she has become, I mean, I would say pretty well known among traditional circles on Twitter. And she shared content about homemaking and homeschooling and anti-feminism and biblical patriarchy, which in and of itself aren't bad things, which is probably why she garnered such a huge following, because there is a market for that. But she also, I think, was capitalizing on deceiving the Christian community, who tend to be a little bit more trusting than others. And then to top it all off, too, she even hosted her own podcast called Patriarchy Country, where she platformed pretty well-known pastors. I believe one guy's name is Eric Kahn. I believe she had this guy. I forget. This is Foster. I don't know if she had him on her podcast, but I do know she frequently did spaces with her or with him. So over the weekend, though, Ryan Duff, as I mentioned, spilt the beans, and he revealed the true identity of Patriarchy Hannah in an elaborate, well researched Twitter thread. So this is Hannah's page. You've probably seen the meme. You've probably seen her fake face, and everything. But actually, I think she did update some of this. So that's kind of cool. She deleted her bio. So that's changed since the last time I looked at this. But here is the thread where Ryan Duff kind of reveals this lie. And we're going to get his investigation ultimately revealed that her identity is likely fabricated, and this is at the time, but it's not even likely fabricated. It is confirmed this is false by Hannah herself after all this came out. So this was the evidence that he brought against her. So who is Patriarchy Hannah, or Harmonized Grace? Join me on a deep dive as I explain how Hannah is a completely fabricated persona and how a random 37-year-old woman in Arkansas named Jennifer Bays is behind the account. This is the catfish of all catfishes on Twitter. I mean, it's actually impressive how elaborate this stunt that she pulled is. So first, some quick background. Patriarchy Hannah is an account that portrays a trad wife who has 14 kids. She does not have 14 kids. Her husband Tony owns a construction company called Tonytown, where their family and kids live. She gained a large following over the past few years. She also ran a Discord community where some of her followers talk and hang out. Discord was disbanded yesterday after the allegations surfaced that Hannah was not who she claimed to be. Now, this is probably where most of this information comes from, is Hannah's Discord, or former Discord is where most of this got leaked. So it started with a house in November 2023. Hannah claimed that she just built the house in Tonytown for her son and soon-to-be daughter-in-law. Unfortunately, this house wasn't built by her husband, Tony, and his friends. It was built by a custom home builder for a different person. So you see here another successful home build completed in Tonytown. Welcome to our new neighbors, our son, and after the 18th, his wife. So pretty nice house. Looks like a nice area. So George, this guy says, you built your son a house? Not me personally, but Tony and his uncles and his brothers did on land we gave to him. We do it for all of our sons. So she's here kind of even making it seem like she's really well off, and she's able to buy all 14 of her kids' homes. So you're led to believe these are really ultra wealthy people that they could buy all 14 kids their own houses in their neighborhood. So Ryan Duff goes on to say, the house matches the Google Street View and satellite imagery down to the propane tank in the side yard and the stairs down to into the river. Property records confirm it was built by a woman and her sister in 2020 for their mother, who has since passed in 2023. So this is the house. Yep, and it does look pretty familiar. Yep, that's the river. And you can see here that, this is by Kara Mills Osterhaus. So this is a description of the family that I guess resided in the house. It looks strikingly similar. Same kind of incline. There's the stairs. There's the river. So Hannah since deleted the post when people called her out on it, but how did she get a picture of the house from across the river? Well, it turns out Hannah's parents, Bobby and Jolynn, own the property there, Yellow Box. And as you can see, it's convenient walking distance to the river peninsula behind the house she claimed they built, the Red Box. So not that far. So he says, okay, so how do you know Jennifer's Hannah? At one point, one of the ladies from the group who sent a stroller in the group was sent a stroller. The Amazon receipt said from Jennifer, and the name on the Amazon account was Jennifer's mother, Jolynn, with an address in Arkansas. This address matches the whole set of addresses Jennifer and her parents have lived at across Arkansas and Louisiana. More evidence that points to the Bays family connection. And now that we have reasonable suspicion that Jennifer Bays is pretending to be Hannah, let's explore that a bit. The Louisiana house. A few years ago, Hannah had shared an address with some of the ladies in the group. Property records on that address showed an LLC listed to an owner. Louisiana businesses recorded records show that the LLC to be owned by Jennifer's parents, Bobby and Jolynn Bays. She also shared a picture in her Discord, which just happens to match the Zillow pictures for that address. Excuse the mess. We had just gotten back into town when I took this. Dang. It's the same. That's nuts. That's nuts. The other Louisiana house, Jennifer's parents owned another nearby property approximately 25 to 30 minutes away. At what point she provided pictures from that house, and as you'd expect, the picture from inside the house matches what was found on Zillow. Oh, wait, what? Oh. On Zillow. At this point, we can reasonably be confident that someone within the Bays family is pretending to be Hannah. Yep. Hannah's grandmother in September passed away, and as it turns out, is the same exact day Jennifer's grandmother passed away. In Jennifer's grandmother's obituary, why does it keep doing that? It's tripping me up. Where am I? Obituary, there's a mention of a Haiti Education Foundation as a place to send donations. Hannah joked about this on Discord. The obituary also clarified that some details on their family. It confirms that Bobby and Jolynn Bay are the parents of Jennifer. It also clarifies that the 4 grandchildren that Jennifer is included in, there are only 3 great grandchildren. So she says, my aunt, can you please help me work on the obituary? I wanted to add something about the Haiti Education Fund that the church sponsors. Me, I got you, fam. All right, I guess that's in her Discord chat. And then this is, I guess, the obituary. Tony, so far, there's no evidence that Tony exists besides some lightly used X account that would occasionally interact with Hannah's, per Jennifer's grandmother's obituary. Jennifer is not married. As for the construction company, I don't know why it keeps bugging out like that. All right, I'm going to have to just kind of talk through some of this. So it ultimately came out that a picture that Hannah had given to other people in the group, well, they ran this image, I guess, through an image finder and found a match for this woman, whose name is Allison, or Allison Brown, or is affiliated with this woman named Allison Brown. So not Hannah, and it's not it wasn't matching any of the any of the other photos. And she would, at one point, so multiple people have spoken to Hannah on the phone, but never face to face. She often denied requests for a video chat. At one point, those close to her asked for proof who she was, and she provided a photo. Unfortunately, the photo she provided was pulled from someone else's profile. At this point, we've pretty much confirmed that 37-year-old Jennifer Bays is cosplaying as Hannah and that Hannah doesn't even exist. Neither does her husband, Tony, at least not in the capacity, nor does she have 14 kids. So has Hannah shared anything that is true, or is this just one big imaginary tale? And then he says, one last point. I've crafted this thread as carefully as I could, exposing just enough details to confirm what I found without compromising additional names, locations, or addresses. So he's gone out of his way to try to prevent her from kind of getting doxxed, I guess. But ultimately, people do dig a little bit deeper into this, and they find photos of Jennifer Bays. And she is, she does not at all look like this. All right. She does, in fact, look like this. That's radically different. And this is her mugshot for her, time spent in jail for identity theft. Okay, so this is the real Hannah. This is Jennifer M. Bays. So this person was actually kind of brilliant and did some detective work, and she pulled up one of these pictures, which can show. You can barely make. I'm having trouble seeing it, but maybe we can look at this together and see the reflection in one of the mason jars. I can't really make it out, but that's how she was able to kind of make out her shape and match it up with this person in this photo. I just think this is such a wild story, especially because of the stuff that Hannah posted. So I'm just gonna go through one of the lies real quick. All right. So this is from Morgan Ariel. She says, "Imagine being this obese and having the audacity to talk crap. Harmonized grace makes Lizzo look small." So this is her, but what makes this what makes this appalling to me, all right, is that she said stuff like this: "Women act like having children is an excuse to gain weight, and it's not. I have 14 children and never lost my figure." Whoa, what an outrageous lie. People are appalled that my husband has a weight range that he expects me to stay in. But what they don't know is that if he doesn't work out for 2 days, I start giving him a hard time. Yeah, because he doesn't exist. He's not real. Well, this is freaking crazy. The couple that fat shames together stays together. Well, evidently, fat shaming did not work on her because she did not take her own advice. And I wouldn't, I'm not gonna put her down for no reason. The fact I'm even bringing this up is because of what she said. All right, she said these are her words, making it seem like, well, one, I don't know how many of you have had spouses that have been pregnant or you have been pregnant, but losing that baby weight is not easy. All right. And she makes it seem like it's just a walk in the park and that you don't have an excuse. Look, I'm not saying that women should stay, not work to lose their weight after they have babies, but it's understandable. Okay. But here's somebody that doesn't even have children trying to basically shame women that actually do have children. So that's nuts to me, man. It's just crazy. And another crazy thing is this chick. Well, one of the people that was friends with Hannah, named Potluck Lauren, tracked her down. So she just spoke to Allison and her partner, and they asked me to post this. She knew Jennifer from her past, who had a husband named Tony who died of an overdose. That's actually a sad development. All right. And, you know, some people have been speculating, well, maybe she's developed this whole personality to cope with the loss of her husband. Maybe, you know, I could not imagine what it must be like to lose one of the people that you love the most. But I also couldn't imagine lying to total strangers who you fostered relationships with for 5 years and coming up with this convoluted story involving your dead husband, using his name and embellishing this crazy story, and then using, this woman that you were, just an acquaintance with. So, oh, and by the way, another plot twist: the Allison, this chick that, no, this chick is actually a lesbian. So Hannah, even the person Hannah pretended to be, isn't even into dudes. So like, like she chose a lesbian. Just to clarify, Allison heard her speak about Tony when they met, and were friends for a time. Allison saw he had died much later on social media, and that Jennifer was beside herself with grief. Ultimately, she did not ever see Tony, nor did she know his last name, other than that he worked for Vivid, an adult film industry. Maybe this is where that pornography claim comes up. It is very possible she made up Tony from day one, even with people like Allison. I think my personal look into this to verify is going to be done. Though, to be honest, at this point, I'm done with it. And I know Jennifer's a liar. Yeah. And she is very clearly a liar. And yeah, maybe Tony isn't real. Maybe she was playing her, maybe that is part of the sick game that she was playing, is that she also lied to this woman while she was in jail, or getting to know her, about even having a husband, because now that she's started down this path, or now that we know she's basically lied about everything, how can you trust anything that she says at this point? How can you trust a single thing that she says? You can't. You can't do it. All right. Another Twitter user also spoke to Allison and said the story is sadder and darker than I thought, and we really should remember to pray for Jennifer. As Lauren said, it was confirmed Hannah's voice was Jennifer Bays from her podcast. There was a boyfriend named Tony. Okay, so a Tony did actually exist at one point. Well, this is what she claims, I think. But he overdosed and passed away, and they did not have children. Tony also had some production role. Yeah, okay, we already know this. So all of this comes out, all right? And a lot of people are really upset because they built relationships with Hannah. I knew Hannah. I had some conversations with her. I was in some spaces with her. So she was in, at least, in the conservative trad circle, she was known. And she finally ended up owning up to it. So she came clean and said, I just want to say that I'm sorry for the lies I told and the hurt I caused. I never intended for this account to become as big as it did. And once things started snowballing, I enjoyed the relationships I built and didn't know how to put an end to it. She could have just took responsibility. All right. And part of me, I'll read the rest of it. Let me read the rest of this and I'll give my thoughts. It was wrong of me. I have repented for this behavior and will not be back on X. I'm sorry to everyone I hurt my lies. Some things that have been said are true and some things are wildly inaccurate, but I don't see the point in sorting it all out. The bottom line is that I am not who I presented myself to be. I'm not going to be giving my reasons for why I started because I'm not looking for sympathy here. It was wrong. and I humbly hope that you can all find it in your hearts to forgive me in the future. Please stop reaching out to my family. They're aware of the situation and are very freaked out by it, by people trying to make contact with them, and they didn't do anything to deserve this attention. I'm sure you understand. Ironic, actually, that she concealed her identity and she had stated, in the past to protect her family. And it's because she lied about who she was that her family ultimately got caught in the crossfire of this web of lies that she's told. And again, it's not just one thing. It's things that she's done for years. And she didn't apologize at first. That wasn't her first instinct. No, she doubled down before she even apologized. Hold on a second. No. Let's look at some of her tweets before she ever ended up apologizing. She's just defending herself. Okay, here we go. The accusations made against me are untrue. This will be my only public address to them. If you have questions, you can reach out to me privately, but I am not interested in giving people the public drama they're searching for. So this was her first response to it, or one of her first responses to it. She's doubling down. She's not taking ownership. She's retweeting people that agree with her. And then she goes on to say they were so close, but so far. Better luck next time. Maybe. No hard feelings to everyone caught up in the scandal. I understand how Christian Twitter loves scandals, so she's trying to downplay it again. Oh, there was another tweet. I think it's gone. I think she deleted it. There's one. Oh, here we go. It's worse than y'all actually think. I'm really a Fed. So she's joking around. So she's not. So there was a pattern of behavior where she's trying to cover up the lie. She's making light of it, making jokes about it, retweeting people who are defending her. And after all of those efforts failed, then she releases this statement. Then she gives this apology. After she realized she's not getting out of it. People are not just going to look the other way. People are not just going to pretend this didn't happen. People are not just going to laugh it off. Ha ha ha! You lied about us and let us confide in you and share our personal information. No, people are not cool with it. And there are some women that shared some really, I mean, deep hurt with this woman. They shared pictures of their kids. They shared their addresses with her. She has their phone number. All this private information was shared with her because she preyed on the good nature of other people and she weaponized people's empathy against them. Extremely evil. And then she only finally apologizes when she is backed into a corner and she has nowhere left to go. So excuse me for not thinking that she's sincere about it. I do not think she's sincere about it. You want to know how I would know she's sincere? Is if she deleted her Twitter right now. That's how I know she's legit. And she didn't make any alt accounts. And maybe she reached out to each one of these individuals that she hurt privately and apologized to them. But she's been continuing to keep her Twitter active, try to explain herself, and she's got a lot of explaining to do. Oh man. Gosh, she said some incredible things. Yeah, these are some of the tweets that she made just trying to defend. Now, here's some of the people that actually knew her. So we're going to read a little bit of what they say. So this is from Lizzie. She says, sorry, I know we need to let this go, but many of us built an actual, what we thought friendship with her. And I think about all the conversations I had with Hannah over the years and how she told me she got a hysterectomy because of sexual abuse. Yeah, this is the type of lie that she was spinning. And now it's like I don't even was maybe that was the truth. And here's the mess up thing. Well, maybe what if this actually did happen to her? But now everybody's going to call everything she says in the question because of this crazy lie. Uh so she got a hysterectomy, and that's how her and Lizzie bonded because I was losing baby after baby. It's like she preyed on us. Then she told someone else she was pregnant and lost her baby last year. She also told me she had sex with her husband 3 times a day, every day. Big red flag right there. Okay. All right. That's all. I'm a man. All right. Like that's excessive. that I not 3 times. Maybe when I was younger, I would have wanted, but that's excessive. That's all. That's too much in one day. Um, because he required that, and I thought that seemed a little excessive, a lot excessive. Yeah, yeah, and a bit weird and creepy as well as lacking in self control on his part. Yeah, I see now that one. How does if you have 14 kids, okay? How do you have time to do that many times a day with 14 kids? It's not possible. Okay, it just isn't with that many kids. And if it was happening that many times a day, then your kids would probably be being neglected somehow. She says, I see now what she was doing. She was shaming women, trying to make us feel low and not good enough because we hadn't adopted 14 kids, don't make sourdough weekly, and don't offer ourselves up 21 times per week. This is absolutely psycho behavior because she made it up. This chick needs to be on Dateline and committed, but most of all, she needs to be born again. Pray for her. My goodness. Another thing that she did that was very deceptive is she asked for prayers for her kid that was in a car accident. She was asking people to pray for her. For a kid that isn't even real. That's evil. That's evil. It's just wrong. Here's another one. I asked if I could pray for her about a month ago. I only post this because it's clear she's a fraud now, but it was specifically about not having a hysterectomy. My procedure went well, and they don't think I'll have to have a full hysterectomy at this time. Praise God. I'm currently going through chemo treatments, so if you could pray for that too, that those don't hit me too hard, and I don't need a hysterectomy again. Thank you so much. Another lie. This is from Hillbilly Things. So she is not having the apology, by the way. She said, yeah, no. Obviously, forgiveness is given freely. And here's one thing I do want to say, all right? Our duty as a Christian is to forgive. Hannah. And I forgive Hannah. But that does not mean that she does not have to atone for what she's done. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have to make it right. And that doesn't mean that you have to maintain a relationship with her. All right? There are certain people in my life that have sinned against me. I've forgiven, and I cut them off completely, not talking to them anymore. And forgiveness unburdens me from carrying guilt with me and unresolved problems with me the rest of my life. And hopefully it releases them. But that does not mean you have to continue having a relationship with people, especially people who are chronic liars. But it ain't that easy just to fade off into the good night. You lied in epic proportion and manipulated your friends' emotions. You may not owe it to the entire X community, and I don't think she does. I don't think she owes the entire X community an apology. I think she owes individuals an apology. But you do owe it to me, Lauren, Megs, Emily, and many others in the Discord who trusted you with sensitive information. If Tony isn't real and he never existed, the story of his overdose and death is just another manipulation of our emotions. At least clear that up. What were you doing with a sex slave website? I don't know what that is. What were you doing with our pictures and information? I know you're hurt too, but the damage you've caused is widespread and deep. You don't get off that easy. Forgiveness granted, but sorted out. Yeah, absolutely. Hillary Carter wrote, being caught red-handed in deception and eventually admitting to wrongdoing is not the same as confessing a hidden transgression that would have remained hidden without self-admission. The latter shows true character and integrity. The former does not. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She only apologized, in my opinion, because she got caught, not because she's sincerely sorry. And she continues to tweet. She suggested she might continue to stay on Twitter after people were encouraging her to make a meme account. No. Listen, all right, this is her drug. When somebody is trying to quit heroin, we don't put them in a situation where they have unlimited access to heroin. Same with social media. She should not be on it at all. And a truly repentant and contrite heart would admit and recognize, I have a problem here. I am a habitual liar. I need to get things together. And what she does need to do is shut down Twitter, delete your account, go touch some grass, go to an actual church. I don't even know if she's actually a Christian. That's the crazy. I don't know. I don't know if she's a believer or not. I suspect, though, if you are going to lie on this scale for as long as you have, without and with lies of like epic proportion, as Hillbilly Thing said, that I don't think she's a Christian. No. Because eventually, like, the Holy Spirit's got to convict you of what you're doing, all right? And for 5 years to be doing it, 5? There is no sin that I've done for 5 years straight. If I'm doing something sinful, I am very quickly made aware of it and I stop doing it. And that was not the case for Hannah. Some of these lies too, man. Like, she lied about her dog, man. I don't know. I don't know if she lied about the dog. When I asked the baby, who's my baby? Her fake baby. She made up a baby. All right? Lucy barks to make sure that everyone is clear on exactly who the baby is. Dude, she lied about Lucy. Is Lucy even real? Is this even her dog? Whose dog's identity did she steal? No, Lucy is disappointed in you, Hannah, for just being a shameless liar. She did this post. Feminist patriarchal men are the worst. They only care about themselves. What I woke up to yesterday when my husband had to leave me for an hour or so, and I was 3 days post surgery, even treats for Lucy. All right, I think this picture's real, but I think she went out. Oh, man, it's so crazy. She went out of her way to put all these foods in these containers. And you want to know how I know this is legit and it's not fake? It's the sweet tarts and trolls and candy over here, all right? So if you're a real trad wife, if you're serious about homemaking, this essentially poison if I brought this into if I went upstairs and I was like, "Hey, babe, here's 3 days worth of food and meals, to recover from your surgery," and my wife saw me bring sweet tarts and trolls and Sunkist, she'd be like, "What the hell is this?" She'd be like, "We don't drink poison in this house." Okay, my wife's hardcore, guys. She's hardcore. She's real serious about homemaking. What did I try to buy once? I tried to buy Crystal Light. So I was bulking up and I was eating like a whole container of yogurt every day. And my buddy recommended adding Crystal Light to it to just give it some flavor so I don't like gag while I was eating it. So I brought the Crystal Light. She's like, she grabbed it and was looking at it. She's like, "You can't eat this. This is hard. What are you doing?" "I'm returning." I'm like, "What? Come on, it's not that big of a deal." She gave me a real hard time about it. I was pretty upset. But my wife is actually legit about eating right. So the fact that she has this crap, this garbage, I'm not saying it's not okay to indulge once in a while, but if you've followed her post, you know that this isn't something that she does once in a while. She frequently talks about how she loves going to Sonic and how her favorite candy is Nerds Clusters. And yeah, we're supposed to believe that you're traditional because you're eating when you're eating garbage all the time. So that should have been a red flag right there, is her eating habits. And by this photo, that might be the only thing that she said that was true. Because, it looks like she does eat quite a bit. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So this whole saga underscores the ease of creating online personalities and the trust that people actually use to weaponize against other people. They build your trust and then they weaponize it against you. So I do think this should be a wake-up call for those of us who easily trust people with our personal information. If you cannot verify the person you are about to share personal information with is a real living human being, do not share information with them. It is not wise, it is not smart, and you don't know who you're sending pics of your children to. Now, fortunately, this was just a woman named, Jennifer Bays. But what if it wasn't? What if there was a more nefarious actor on the other side that was using your kids' photos in a way that was not good? Or what if they were using your addresses to find you and your family, So I don't think, another question we can ask is there any good reason to trust an anonymous account? No. And if you do, it's with rare exceptions. So the only time I'm trusting anonymous accounts is if they are breaking like stories within the government. And then even then, you gotta verify. You can't just run with it, I don't know if you guys remember back in, I think it was 2020. Yeah, in the 2020 election, QAnon was talking about how there was going to be, to trust the plan, and that they were going to overturn the results of the election. It was going to be this big epic win for Trump. Just wait, just trust the plan. And that plan never manifested. That plan never unraveled. You had Sidney Powell talking about how she was going to release the Kraken, and then when she was asked for evidence, she failed to provide it. Very same thing happened here with Patriarchy Hannah. People asked for evidence, and they weren't getting it. She was never giving them pictures of the real her. She wouldn't FaceTime them when she was chronically on Spaces all the time, which is something that other people had pointed out. Like, if you have 14 kids, how do you have enough time to be on Spaces constantly? You don't. You just don't have enough time to do that with 14 kids. So I do think there is a place for anonymous accounts, but only in rare exception. With a rare exception, I could forgive a meme account. That's just sharing memes, whatever. That's fine. I could forgive people that show their real face and maybe not their last names. That's something I do. I don't share my last name on here. And not because I'm afraid to share my last. I don't have a problem sharing my last name. I have kids. All right. My duty as a father is to protect my children and to keep them out of the public eye. So that's something that I'm committed to doing, which is why I don't share my last name. If I didn't have kids, or if I wasn't married, I would. I'd have no problem doing that. But I'm going to try to keep my whole identity a secret until eventually it gets leaked, because I suspect that will happen one day. And then the final question that I addressed before: should we forgive Hannah? Yeah, we should forgive Hannah or Jennifer. We should forgive her and pray that she sincerely repents and sincerely comes to the Lord, and that she gets connected with real people in the real world who can walk her through the process of discipleship, who can show her the truth, and the truth will set her free. That's what we need to pray for. That this is a humbling experience, and that she doesn't come back under a new name and a new secret identity and try to scam her way into the hearts of believers, because she counted on our goodwill. She counted on the goodwill of these women. And I'm grateful, honestly, that there are women who are serious about praying for her despite what she's done. And I think that's the way of Christ. You pray for even your enemies, even those who try to harm you. I think one of the most beautiful stories in the Bible is when Stephen is quite literally getting stoned to death, and he's praying for his enemies as they take his life and saying, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they're doing." And I think we need to have that same energy toward Jennifer and forgive her. That doesn't mean we have to be buddy with her. That doesn't mean that we have to be her friend and we have to listen to or follow anything she says, but that she knows that she has a pathway toward redemption. All right. Man, that was a crazy story, man. I'm still bothered about Lucy. She lied about the dog. And she lied about how her weight. God. I just can't even imagine being a woman and watching her have the audacity to talk about how she's losing weight after having 14 kids when she doesn't even have kids. And there are real women who work real hard, who have real kids, to lose weight and struggle with it. Anyway, I've already belabored this point for too long. So we're going to move on to the next story. So we are going to be talking about Elon Musk's new baby mama, and her name is Ashley St. Clair. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Ashley St. Clair, she is, I wouldn't say she's a conservative, all right? No, she definitely rubs elbows with conservatives and champions conservative causes, but her she strikes me very much as a libertarian. And that's Elon Musk is also a libertarian. So the fact that she's involved with Musk is not that shocking to me. But she posted this tweet 5 months ago. I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety, but in recent days, it has become clear that tabloid media intends to do so regardless of the harm it will cause. I intend to allow our child to grow in a normal and safe environment. For that reason, I ask that the media honor our child's privacy, respect their privacy, and and refrain from invasive reporting. Yeah, totally. Media totally should respect her privacy. And then, so she tweets this, and then what do you know? The New York Post has this write up about her, just outright, nothing says respect my privacy more like inviting the New York Post to your swanky condo, a $40,000 condo for an exclusive interview. Respect my privacy, but come on in, guys. Join me for an interview. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about my love child with Elon Musk. So, Ashley St. Clair, influencer who claims to have had Musk's 13th child, reveals life of secrecy after a whirlwind romance with down to earth billionaire. All right, the conservative influencer who claims to have given birth to Elon Musk's 13th child revealed to the Post how she was driven to lead a life of secrecy after a whirlwind romance with the ex owner. In an exclusive sit down from her glitzy Manhattan pad Saturday, Ashley St. Clair, 26, describes the 53-year-old Tesla and SpaceX mogul as funny and down to earth, but claimed that he wanted to keep their baby a secret for everyone's safety. St. Clair asked to keep her son's name a secret, but revealed he is happy and healthy. Totally about her privacy when she's, here posing for a photo in her apartment. Oh man, my child is the most perfect thing that happened to me. I wouldn't change anything. Gushed St. Clair. St. Clair broke the internet on Friday when she posted on X that she gave birth. Blah blah blah. We read that. Musk has not yet acknowledged the allegations, and his rep did not respond to multiple requests for comment by the Post. So he hasn't said anything, by the way. He has tweeted just as he normally does, unhindered by any of these claims. He has made numerous unrelated posts on X since the alleged lover made the announcement. Ashley and Elon had been privately working toward the creation of an agreement about raising their child for some time. It's disappointing that a tabloid reporter who repeatedly ambushed Ashley and her family made it impossible to complete that process confidentially. Her representative, Brian Glicklich, said in a statement on X Saturday. We are waiting for Elon to publicly acknowledge his parental role with Ashley to end unwarranted speculation, and Ashley trusts that Elon intends to finish their agreement quickly in the best interest of the well-being and security of the child they share. The platform, which Musk bought for $44 billion in 2022. Blah 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 blah. All right, so there's a reason I'm specifically covering this story, and so this is a total conspiracy on my part. I will admit, I understand that it sounds a little out there, okay? I think it could be possible that Ashley St. Clair got my old account deleted. I know it's crazy. I know. And it might very well be crazy, but I remember saying something that actually, I don't know, I was debating her or challenging her on some thoughts on abortion back in like August, September, or sometime in that time frame. About the same time, my account got deleted. And who happens to be dating and having a love child of Elon Musk and has what I would assume is a little bit of authority or sway on Twitter? Ashley St. Clair. Coincidence? So Ashley, if you did ban my account, please unban it. Please. Unban my account. So anyway, another reason I want to talk about this story is because of the conservatives that are tripping over themselves to congratulate Ashley for her love child. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Alex, God bless you and your family. Would be nice if legacy media did actual reporting on important issues instead of intruding on people's personal lives and seemingly intentionally putting children in danger. Unfortunately, we live in a world where that's the reality. Keep fighting. What danger is Elon Musk's child in? Reporting that they have a child, I don't think puts the child in danger. And by the way, this was not a great secret, okay? You want to know why I know it's not a great secret? Because somebody I know told me about this like a year ago. Or not a year ago, but probably back in August. But told me about it not that long ago. Well, it was technically last year. So, but I was aware of this. I was made aware of this. So if I, random guy on Twitter, knew that this was a possibility, then obviously this is going to get out. Yeah, there's no hiding that. Candace Owens writes, children should always be off limits. Journalists are parasites. Hard to imagine going through this with a young one. Better to come out with this on your own terms. George and I will be praying for you, Ash. I actually thought her was actually good. Cernovich, congratulations. Sorry you had to deal with this BS. There is no low that they won't go. Why, and I'm not the only one that's pointing this out, but why are we congratulating her? Exactly. Like, there is a way, and people have presented this as, well, that's just a polite thing to do. Every child is a gift. Yeah, I agree. But you don't have to congratulate Ashley. You can say something here. I'm just going to make it very simple, all right? If you want to celebrate the gift of life that she's brought into the world without congratulating her, there's actually a way to do that, all right? You could say, wow, Ashley, babies, they're such a blessing. I'm praying for nothing but the best for you. There you go. That's one way to do it, where you're not actually congratulating her, but also acknowledging the gift of life of a child. So I don't think we need to be congratulating people for having sex out of wedlock. James O'Keefe, congrats, Ashley. Pearl, congrats on single mother. All right, Pearl's savage sometimes, but Pearl's also, a hypocrite, because Pearl is a self-admitted fornicator by her own admission. She has admitted that she is currently having sex outside of marriage. So, opinion promptly discarded, Pearl. E, a baby is a gift from God. Congrats on that little life and new family. Yep, he could have stopped there. Boom. A baby is a gift from God. Could have just left it there. Hope, and then he could have said, hoping you can raise that baby away from the nasty journalists. Be blessed. So there are ways, again, to do this without actually congratulating the individual. It's not either or. There's actually there's a door number 3 that you can walk through. So yeah, that was most of Twitter. Now, another crazy thing to this story is that Ashley has been plotting this for quite some time. All right. So this was a post shared by Milo Yiannopoulos. Ashley St. Clair plotted for half a decade to ensnare Elon Musk. So I'm taking this as Ashley replying to Greg Price. I needed to get Elon Musk's attention for a marriage proposal. Please, Greg. Greg Price, he's got a kid with a woman already. Seems unlikely to work out. Ashley, well, he actually has 7 kids and goes through women pretty fast. So she's already she was plotting this back in, I think, I don't know, I'm assuming 2020, a while ago. And Elon Musk did respond to this. I think he's since deleted the tweet, but he said, "Whoa." So he actually replied to this tweet, which I think is wild. Another thing that I think this pregnancy reveals, and particularly Ashley's relationship with Elon, is the disparity in the payout system. So Daniel writes, I understand the payout system now. I now know what I must do. So this is Ashley sharing in October 2024. Her payout. It almost seems like everybody that gets these gigantic, massive mega payouts are in a relationship with Elon Musk of sorts. I don't think as intimate as Ashley here, but I do think it's a clever way to pay her for your relationship. So basically, Ashley's like a high-end prostitute, and her payment is monetization on X. So yeah, it is there is a lot of speculation that the people that get these high payouts have favor with Elon Musk, and that they share these screenshots because of and they make that much money because of that. Joe Rogan responded to this. I think we are about to find out that Ashley St. Clair is crazier than Amber Heard. So yeah, that was Elon responding to that tweet saying, whoa. And then Ashley responds, Elon, we have been trying to communicate for the past several days and you have not responded. When are you going to reply to us instead of publicly responding to smears from an individual who just posted photos of me in underwear at 15 years old? I have not seen those photos. I'm not going to go looking for them. But that's ballsy. Her doing the whole announcement thing is ballsy too, because I do feel like this was a way to hurt Elon, and I don't think it's an opportune time for her. Now, I'm not saying that she keeps this in the dark, but they should have came to some sort of agreement about how they were going to make this announcement. But maybe he really is just not answering her calls or text messages. But I do get the sense that this is a scorned lover, a woman that is taking the nuclear option. So yeah, another thing I want to talk about, man. This has unpacked so much. And this is why I talk about some of the stuff that happens on Twitter, because there's actually good conversations that can come out of it. So another one is Andrew Tate's stupid take. Andrew Tate wrote, standard conquerors behavior. Imagine only having children with one woman. What next, gay bar? Imagine that. Imagine having children with a woman that you love and will love you all the days of your life. Horrible. Imagine their kids knowing their father. Weak. Gay. Not. Imagine having the self-control of a hormonal teenager, because that's what he's admitting to. Yeah. Imagine contributing to the massive problem of fatherlessness that our nation already struggles with. Imagine. Stupid take. And he goes on, by the way, he's not done here. If all your children come from one woman, you are not a conqueror. I distinctly recall a man, his name goes by the name Jesus Christ, and he was born from one woman, and he married no woman, and he went on to conquer the world. And we as Christians are more than conquerors and are empowered by Jesus Christ. And he also, ironically too, never was with a woman, but has more children than Andrew Tate will ever have, which is kind of awesome. And he will also be the one who is sending degenerate men like Andrew Tate to hell for all of eternity if he doesn't repent. Another thing he said was this, and there's a whole video, I'm not going to play it, but he said, wedlock is designed to control peasantry. Kings must reproduce at any cost. Sounds like Andrew needs to read the Bible. You know who had a lot of kings that lost his kingdom? King David. Yeah. His sons turned against him, particularly Absalom, and tried to kill his own father. And I'm sure that, it worked out so well for him. I'm sure it's going to be better for you. Yeah, when you don't build relationships too with the children that you bring into the world, I'm willing to bet that some of those kids are not going to be quite as happy with you as you think they are. And some of them may even work to undermine everything that you have built. And then when you're dying in your old age and you don't have any of those kids around you because they don't actually love you or care about you, or if they do show up, they're only showing up because they want the keys to the kingdom. They want your wealth and your assets, and they don't actually care about you. And then they take it and then they run your entire empire down into the ground. Don't cry about it. Because just reproducing for the sake of reproducing can cost you everything. Marriage is designed for one man and one woman. And God used the marital covenant to bring about the savior of the world. And yeah, there are some people that got out of hand and disregarded God's commands and his design for man, and they paid for it heavily, a steep price. But we should never underestimate what God could do to a man, with a man who is sold out for his kingdom. And that's something men like Andrew Tate will never understand. Okay, I think that's going to do it for me today. If you guys liked this content, please like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell to stay notified. I'm parched. And with that, I will be ending the stream. Deuces.